It is a common thing to say that preservation is a combo healer, and to see a lot of different spell sequences listed on guides and videos. While it's true that the way preservation works means that you're supposed to use spells in certain specific orders, the combos themselves don't actually matter. The important part is the reasons we came up with these combos in the first place. There are several talents, buffs, and interactions that lead to the combos. Once you know all these interactions, then you will naturally be able to come up with the combos on your own, and modify them to suit your specific needs. Understanding the basics of the spec gives you flexibility, as opposed to memorizing strict cast sequences. There are 4 things that dictate the order of the spells you cast. These things are echoes, buffs, the profile, and time. For the echoes, the important thing to remember is just that echoes are consumed by the next healing spell after applying them. You are supposed to use your echoes and temporal anomaly to amplify another healing ability by using them right before said ability. For the buffs, there are some buffs that you need to activate before using certain spells. Most of them are tied to Burden Embrace. The main example of this is Call of Ysera. You always want to use Burden Embrace before Dream Breath, because Burden Embrace activates Call of Ysera, which in turn buffs Dream Breath. If we combine these 2 things together, then we end up with one of the most common preservation combos, which is Burden Embrace into Temporal Anomaly into Dream Breath. Using Burden Embrace before Temporal Anomaly means we activate Call of Ysera, but still have the echoes from Resonating Sphere ready to amplify our Dream Breath. Now, for the healing profile, amplifying Dream Breath is good to heal damage over time, but won't be very good when you need burst healing. For that, you will ideally use a Spirit Bloom or Lifevine. To do healing with Lifevine, we first need to apply echoes, then use Burden Embrace, and finally heal ourselves for a high amount very quickly, mainly with Spirit Bloom. And this leads to another of the common preservation combos, which is Temporal Anomaly into Burden Embrace into Spirit Bloom. And so, by knowing what Echo does and how Burden Embrace interacts with both Spirit Bloom and Dream Breath via Call of Ysera and Lifevine, you can come up with these combos on your own, without having to memorize the sequences. And then, the final factor is time. Every spell works over a certain amount of time, and this affects how you combine them. Lifevine has a 5 seconds duration, and so you need to do healing on yourself very quickly to take advantage of it. On the other hand, Call of Ysera lasts up to 20 seconds, which means you don't need to use Burden Embrace immediately before Dream Breath, and instead can space it out. This results in you being able to combine the 2 previous combos, so you can apply Echoes, then cast Burden Embrace to consume them and apply Lifevine, then use a Spirit Bloom to heal yourself and transfer it via the Lifevine, then apply a Temporal Anomaly to apply more Echoes, and then consume those echoes with Dream Breath. Due to the duration of Call of Ysera, you can easily use the Burden Embrace from a previous burst healing sequence to fuel your next Dream Breath. But do note that this is only optimal if you need to do the heal over time, closely followed from healing burst damage. If you do need the healing from Dream Breath, it is fine to let Call of Ysera expire, and then apply it again when it makes sense to do so. And then, because Lifevine lasts only for 5 seconds, and Dream Breath heals over a longer amount of time, upwards of 20 seconds, with a very small amount up front, it doesn't make sense to use Dream Breath right after consuming several echoes with Burden Embrace. In the case of wanting to amplify Dream Breath, you will apply the echoes after using Burden Embrace, and if you want to consume echoes with Burden Embrace for burst healing, you will instead follow that up with a Spirit Bloom or Living Flame to transfer that via the Lifevine. You will never cast Dream Breath into a Lifevine, because Dream Breath simply doesn't fit the profile for Lifevine healing. And then for stasis, there is no stasis combos. You simply want to fill your stasis with your strongest spells. The strongest spells are Dream Breath, Spirit Bloom, and Temporal Anomaly. The specific order you store them in can vary depending on what you want to accomplish, but it follows the same rules as before. In the case of wanting to do overtime healing, you will put Temporal Anomaly before the Dream Breath. And if you instead want to do burst healing, you will put Temporal Anomaly before Spirit Bloom. Whether you put the final spell at the start or at the end of the stasis doesn't really matter either. The only important part is using Temporal Anomaly before the spell you want to amplify, the same way you will do this with the spells outside of stasis. In the case of wanting to use your Temporal Anomaly echoes for a different thing that isn't Spirit Bloom or Dream Breath, you will instead put the Temporal Anomaly at the end of the stasis. This way, when you release the stasis, your last spell will be Temporal Anomaly, giving you 5 free echoes on the group. The main use of this is to release stasis, followed up by casting another Temporal Anomaly to have upwards of 10 echoes on the raid, before consuming them with something like Burden Embrace, followed by Emerald Communion. Another thing worth mentioning that isn't very clear from seeing the combos is that you don't actually need to use all the spells of the sequence. Say, if you need to quickly heal up your group and plan to echo Burden Embrace and then Lifebind a Spirit Bloom for that, but after casting the Burden Embrace you notice that the group is already at full health, then you can just cut the combo short there and not waste the Spirit Bloom. The sequence might be the most ideal order of the spells, but if you already accomplish your goal of healing the group, then there is no need to go all the way and do more overhealing just because the certain guide tells you to. And so, once again, the combos themselves don't matter. The important part is how your spells interact with each other and thinking of the best way to achieve a specific healing profile using those interactions. By having a better understanding of the spec, you will be able to easily come up with the combos on your own on a moment-to-moment basis and won't need to memorize a bunch of specific sequences. If you need more help on learning how to play Preservation, check out the guides linked on the description of the video. If you have a specific question or need help with anything more complex, feel free to join the Evoker Discord and ask us there. That will be all for now. Bye bye.